Everyone has that nostalgic show that they can always go back to and still enjoy. For me, that show has always been Video Game High School. There aren't many things on YouTube that are similar to VGHS. Its combination of zany characters and lighthearted storylines earned it over 160 million views across its 21 episode run. Projects like VGHS are few and far between on YouTube. Its scope and production value was very impressive for the time and still holds up today. The show was released in 2012 after having immense success on Kickstarter. VGHS follows Brian D as he tries to fit in at the school. Brian is joined by his quirky best friend Ted Wong, love interest / FPS phenom Jenny Matrix, Key Swan, who is the product of a family of game developers, and the Law, who is the main antagonist, and
Cheat Elite's hunkiest teen gamer of the decade.
The cast outside of the main characters is also very strong. Many members of the ensemble cast can often steal an episode. Some of my personal favorites include DK, who acts like a king.
Oh, Theodore. A butt you may be, but an honest butt at that.
Alliterator, who only speaks in alliteration.
That big baby Brian's bound to burn, bro.
And Games Dean, who is about as cool as someone can be in a fictional universe about a high school where its students play video games. VGHS also had a very impressive lineup of guest stars for a YouTube web series. Across the series, you will see Joel McHale, Zach Levi, Tony Hawk, Stan Lee, Harvey from Epic Mealtime, John Morrison, Conan O'Brien, and Freddie from iCarly. If you're looking for an Emmy Award-winning drama, then VGHS is probably not the right show for you. It is a very corny show, but while a lot of shows often shy away from that, VGHS embraces it. For instance, in one episode of the show, they celebrate a holiday called Leetmas, where every holiday is blended together, and another episode is shot like a romance movie from the 80s. This show's 3-season arc is expertly done. The first season is the typical origin story where you get introduced to the main characters and watch them have very complete story arcs. The second season is very lighthearted and full of humor, which causes you to get attached to the characters. Then in the third season, it throws these characters that you care for through emotional turmoil, and you watch them overcome it and grow by the end. While it would help you pick up on references, you don't need to play video games to enjoy this show. The scenes of the characters playing video games are shot in the real world, so as long as you enjoy action movies, then you enjoy these scenes. This show is able to pull off these real-world video game action sequences mainly due to its creators. It was created by Freddie Wong, Matthew Arnold, Will Campos, and Brian Ferenczi of the Rocket Jump channel. Rocket Jump, formerly known as Freddie W, specializes in creating shorts with high-quality special effects. This channel was so successful that it currently has over 9 million subscribers and was the 6th most subscribed to channel on YouTube at one point. While these action sequences are undoubtedly fun, this show mainly shines in showing these characters as they progress through high school. Brian D, for example, gets into VGHS when he kills the Law, who was the school's #1 player at the time in an online FPS match. This causes him to constantly be trying to prove himself and become more than just a one-shot wonder. Ginny has to prove that she can move up from the JV to varsity FPS team and eventually become skilled enough to play in the pros. Meanwhile, Ted is trying to earn the approval of his rhythm gaming dad, who is played by Freddie Wong, who actually happens to be a Guitar Hero champion. Key tries to show her overprotective parents that she can be independent, and the Law kinda just does Law things. These scenes and emotional moments can almost help you enjoy VGHS more as you get older. For instance, when I was younger, I mostly enjoyed this show for the video game references and blood-pumping action scenes. But now that I'm older, I can often relate to a lot of these challenges that the characters go through, and it's rewarding seeing them be able to conquer these like I, and I'm sure you have done at some point in our lives. I started watching VGHS about a year after it ended. When I was in middle school, I literally went on Netflix and typed in video games, and this show was the first thing that came up. But while I didn't get into the series in the coolest way, it definitely was a bright spot for me and kind of made me wish that I could actually go to a high school where I could play video games. During this time, I would always scour the VGHS subreddit and wiki to try and find any news I could on a potential season 4. But this was all for naught. As it is stated on the Rocket Jump website and the VGHS postmortem, it has become almost impossible to make high-budget shows on YouTube. This reasoning caused Rocket Jump to move away from VGHS and make 2 shows on Hulu, and they eventually moved off of YouTube altogether. So ultimately, before and after Video Game High School, short-form content is just what does the best on YouTube. But a new season shouldn't be ruled out just yet. Originally, Rocket Jump was planning on making a Video Game High School animated series after the show's run, but that was eventually canned. I think this reply that Freddy made to a Reddit post is the best indicator of if there will ever be a continuation of the series. As you can see, it appears that they've tried on multiple occasions to get another season off the ground, but I think a lot of us forget how hard it is to make a TV series. It does appear that there was a deal for a continuation at one point, but the network they were setting a deal with getting sucked up by a larger streaming service changed that. They said that they're still trying though, so we could potentially see some noobs get fragged in the future. As far as continuations go, I honestly doubt that we'd ever get a true season 4, just because of how hard it is to secure the same actors and locations. But I think it is likely that someday we could get an animated series or a toned down version of the original series. Personally, I think it would be cool if we got to follow around characters and see them get their own side series. But while there currently aren't any new episodes of VGHS, I think we should be happy with the amazing show we got. This show gave me and many other people a lot of fond memories. I honestly couldn't recommend it enough for anyone of any age. When this show was being made, it seemingly had
nothing to lose. Almost nothing.
But it accomplished an astronomical amount and will continue to entertain millions.